Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Bronislava. I have a blog, HandMadeRukodelky. You can find there lots of patterns, some that you need to pay for, but many of them are free. As you see in today's video, we will be working on a dress, and this dress is for about 2-year-old girl. The pattern for this dress is gonna be on my blog. So check the links below the video. And let me tell you, before I start working on this dress in this video, let me tell you, for crocheters, just in case they click on this video as well, I am already working on a dress, on a crochet dress, also with bobbles. Okay, so that's what we will be doing in today's video, knitting the dress. And you crocheters, you just go and look for the crochet pattern, probably in about a month, hopefully 3 weeks, but you never know. So let's go and knit. All right, so I cast it on 132 stitches. Over here I have 30 stitches. Between these two markers I have 36. Again, 30 stitches between these two markers and 36 stitches over here. These are gonna be my straps. That's gonna be front or back, and this is gonna be front or back, and this is gonna be my strap. So wherever there are 36 stitches, that's gonna be my strap from front to back, which is this one and this one. Now I will start purling entire row. I will purl. So, well, I put my markers in here so I don't have to count all the time my stitches. And so if you are working actually on circular needles, you do want to put your markers in there. But I will be distributing these stitches among my double pointed needles. So I will purl entire row. And again, I am purling with with continental style. And if you want to do it with English style, then you know that you need to have yarn in here in the front. Let me go and show it to you. And you just wrap the yarn. Instead of grabbing it with your needle, you are gonna go and wrap it around your needle, and you put your needle into the stitch and wrap it around the needle and push it back out. And your yarn is here in front of you. It's not in the back of the needle, okay? I'll do one more and then I will switch to my continental style, which I absolutely love because it goes so much faster. But there are people who are super fast with their English style. I'm not even as fast with my continental as they are with their English style. So I will be purling all the way to the end of my row, and after I'm finished, I will distribute my stitches among 4 double pointed needles. Okay, and you continue doing what you need to do. All right, so here I am at the end of the row. And I will switch to my double pointed needles, shorter ones. Okay. So what I will do is I will just go and move 30 stitches on this needle, and then 36 on another needle, then 30 stitches on third needle, and 36 stitches on the fourth needle. Okay, I moved it on my 3 needles. I still left it over here because I just, I don't have to waste my time moving these stitches on this needle, because I will knit with this needle and move it that way. Okay, so again, I am making sure this is not twisted in these corners. And of course that if you if you knit on circular needles, you do not remove those markers, right? And now we are going to purl all the stitches again to our beginning. Okay, so I'm finished with my row, and we need to knit in this row, knit all the stitches, and also we need to add stitches in these corners. Okay, so if you have marker, because you're knitting with circular needles, you will go and after the marker you will knit one stitch, and then you can add a stitch, and you can actually, so we will knit one, and you can actually add either by yarn over or knitting between the stitches one stitch, which you will pick the leading yarn, and this is gonna be our left leaning increase. So if you pick it from front, then you need to knit it in the back. Okay, knit it through the back, and you can see that that yarn is leaning left. Okay, now I will knit all these stitches, and I will do another increase, but the right leaning in that direction. Okay, before the last stitch, so between these two stitches. Okay, so I'm going to go and knit all the stitches now. I will knit stitches on this needle only, almost all of them except the last one. So you will basically knit stitches between the markers before the last stitch before the next marker. Okay, so here I am, and now we are going to do the right leaning. So we need to pick up the stitch. Let me go and do it so you can see better. We need to pick up the stitch from the back, so we will insert tip of the needle from the back between the stitches and pick up that yarn, and then we will knit it. I usually go and pick up the yarn a little bit, stretch it in here, and then place it and knit it. Okay, and now we will knit that stitch. Okay, now I am going to do again on this needle left leaning and then right leaning. Okay, and I should probably show it to you in English style. And we're knitting, so yarn in the back. So we need to first, so if you're on a circular needles, you have a marker right here. Okay, so we will knit the first stitch. Now we are going to pick up this leading yarn between these stitches from the front. Let me put it on this way. Okay, it's like you go and put that needle from the front, right? And now we will knit it through the back loop. So let's go and try to get in there. Sometimes I just go like this because it's difficult to put it through the back loop. So I just circle it with my needle. So I'm in the back, and then I just knit it, right? And now I will knit all the way to the last stitch before my next marker. But don't knit the last stitch before the marker, because we need to increase again, and we need to do that right leaning increase. Okay, now we are going to do the right leaning. So we need to pick up that yarn between the stitches from the back, okay, and we need to place this needle. I stretch it a little bit so I can go and place it in there in a knitting position and then wrap it around and make an increase, okay, and knit our last stitch before the marker, okay. I don't have the marker, I have them separated with my needles. All right, and I will do this on 2 more needles because I showed it to you on this needle, with the continental style, this needle with the English style, and I still need to finish 2 more needles. Okay, I am done with all my increases, and in this row I will knit all the stitches. And all right, so I knitted my row, okay, and I got my markers ready over here because we're gonna be doing something. We're gonna be doing a 6 stitch repeat in this row, and on top of it we are going to be increasing, but we don't want to touch at the moment the stitches that we increased. So we increased by 1 stitch, so I'm going to go and put a marker over here to know that I cannot go and touch it, that this, for my repeat, this would be my first stitch when I need to start counting. And we also cannot touch this last stitch because that was increase. I will put these markers in there just for you to see what is going on. So I will count 6 stitches and put my marker because that's gonna be my 1 repeat. Another 6 stitch repeat and I will put my marker. So if you don't feel very comfortable in keeping track of your stitches, put markers in there, and you will need a lot of them because it's only 6 stitch repeat. Okay, so I know that I have to actually increase after this stitch between these 2 stitches. Okay, so I will be picking up my leading yarn right here and increasing. So before this marker, okay, which is beginning of our repeats, and this one is the end of the repeats. All right, so let's go into increase, and we need to do again, what do we need to do? First knit the stitch and then the increase. And we need to do left leaning increase, so we need to go from the front and then knit through the back loop, okay? And let's go and move this. So these 2 stitches do not belong to our repeats. Okay, so we are going to knit 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. And we need a hook. I forgot to mention that. We need actually to go and use hook, and we will be doing a bobble, okay? So we will pull the yarn through this stitch and pull it up, you know, fairly high. Then do yarn over, go through the stitch again, that's 2, and do it loosely, that's 3 times, and 1 more time. 1 more time. So you want to have 2, 4, 6, 7. You want 7 loops now, okay? We are going to go and pull the yarn, so yarn over and pull the yarn through all these loops, okay? Now we're gonna pull yarn through that one loop again. Now we need to go below that stitch over here. So not this stitch, not where you made the bobble, but below this stitch, and you go from the front. Okay, make a long string again, pull that yarn over and pull it through both of these loops. And now let's go and put it on our needle, like we would go and work the stitch. Okay, and we will knit 2 remaining stitches, knit and knit. And this is our bobble, English style. So we will knit 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we need to grab our hook. Now with the hook we need to go and switch it to our yarn on other hand, right? And we are going to pull the yarn through high up. Okay, and do this 3 more times. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we're going to go and let go of that yarn, I mean not that stitch. Pull it through all these 7 loops, pull it through that loop again. Now we are going to go back into the stitch below this from the front, so not here but right there. Pull that yarn very high up. Okay, just like this. Pull the yarn again through this stitch and place it on your needle like you would knit the stitch. And finish knitting 2 remaining stitches in your repeat. And we will do that again, all right? So I will continue like this, but let me go and show you something else. So I will do it here. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4 more times on this needle, 6 times on this needle. On this needle, I will have to do it 5 times. But let me go and tell you again. I need to go and put these. This doesn't count for our repeat because we increased. And this doesn't count for our repeat. Okay, so over here I will have 5 repeats, 5 6 stitch repeats. So I will have 5 of those bobbles. These. On this needle I will have 6. On this needle I will have 5 bobbles. On this needle I will have 6. On this needle I will have 5. Okay, and again remember, this stitch doesn't belong to our count. This doesn't to the repeats, and this stitch doesn't belong to repeat. And so I did my last bobble on this needle, and let me show you the increase on this side right here. Okay, the right leaning increase. So I still need to knit 2 more stitches over here before I do my increase, before the last stitch. Okay, so again we need to pick from the back. Okay, for right leaning I stretch it and put my needle in there, and I will make increase. So I have extra stitch, and I will go and finish my row with that one stitch, that needle with that stitch, and I'm ready to do another increase and start another set of bobbles. So I will knit this stitch, okay, I will increase now, oops, it's coming out now with the left leaning, so I have to go from front and knit through the back loop. Let me go and just circle it to the back because it's easier for me, okay. I will move this stitch and this marker, and I know that this is beginning, this marker makes it the beginning of my 6 stitch repeats, okay. So I need to do again 3 knit stitches, so that's 1, 2, 3. Now the bobble. So I will pull the yarn through the, like I would want to go and knit it, okay. And now I need to do 3 times yarn over and pull through. So that's 1, 2, 3. And I'm always trying to pull it high up, okay. We can go and let go of that stitch, but hold it, because now you need to go and pull yarn through all these loops and finish it. But we're not finished completely. We still need to go and put our hook without yarn over, okay, just into the stitch and pull that yarn through high up and finish it with 1 more stitch, and then put it on your needle, okay. Now sometimes these bobbles like to go in the back, push it to the front, all right, and knit 2 stitches, 1, 2. Now I don't need, because I know that this is end of my repeat, so I would need to really have my marker for my repeat, but I remember, so I will knit again 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3. These needles are hitting the table. Okay, and I need to do my bobble again, and after bobble I will knit 2 stitches, okay. So I will continue like this all the way to the end, and then I will tell you what to do. But don't forget, in the corners we still need to do our increases in here, okay. Okay, so I'm finished with my bobbles, okay, and I will knit entire row. So just knit, tighten the stitches. If you're knitting on double pointed needles, don't forget to tighten those first couple stitches and last couple stitches. So we will knit entire row, no increasing. Increasing is only every other row. Now this is going to be kind of a gap, so you just go and make sure that you nicely tighten up those stitches, okay? So in this row we need to purl, but we also need to increase. So we will first purl the first stitch, okay, and then we will purl in all corners while we pick the yarn from the back. Pick it from the back and then purl the stitch. I cannot get in there. Okay, I'm there. I just went around the needle and we will purl. And now we will purl every single stitch until the last stitch on this needle, okay, over here where we will go, and before that last stitch we will increase again by picking up the yarn, leading yarn between the last and next to last stitch. And I'm going to take these out because I don't need them. But however, you might want to keep them if you are not very good with counting your stitches, because we will have to go and do that again later on. But right now we are going to purl all the stitches to the last stitch on this needle. And we need to go and increase again. So we will pick from the back, put our yarn in front, and purl. And purl last stitch on the needle. And we will do this again on next needle, okay? So we will purl one stitch, pick the yarn from the back because we're purling, so we don't have to worry about right leaning and left leaning. We just need to increase. It would be hard to do it with purling, increasing in a purl row, okay? All right, so I'm going to finish my 3 more DPNs, double pointed needles. All right, so I increased again 8 stitches in this row, and we need to do 1 more purl row. And you should have 3 stitches before and 3 stitches after each marker if you do have those markers in there, okay? And you should have 36 stitches between these markers, 30 stitches between these markers, 36 between these, and 30 between these, okay? Just to remind you what's going on. So I will purl entire row. So now we are going to increase again because we didn't increase in this last row, okay? So now we need to increase again, and we also change the color. So we will knit first stitch. Let me go and squish it a little bit because I just wanted to see how it looked. And it's looking pretty good. Absolutely love what's going on in here. Okay. All right, so we did knit, and now we need to increase. So again, you know, do your little thing. Because we will be knitting the row, we are not going to be doing purling. Okay, no purl. So we are going to go and pick from front and knit through the back, okay? And we should go and have 4 stitches before the marker. Move the marker. Okay, so we really increased already 4 times in 4 different rows, okay? Every other row. And now I will knit all the way to my last stitch on this double pointed needle, and then I will increase, okay? So again, I will increase by 8 stitches. All right, so this is my last stitch on my needle, and we need to do, let me see, we need to do the right. We need to do right leaning, so we pick up from the back and we knit the stitch and we knit last stitch. Okay, and now we are going to do the same thing again on this needle. That means that we're going to go knit one, make one left, knit all the stitches to the one last stitch, and then make one right. Okay, so this is what I did yesterday. Finished the white, and I will be starting a gray color now, but I just wanted to let you know. So I increased in the first row, as you remember, and I showed it to you, and then it got very rainy and dark in here. Big huge dark cloud came, so I stopped videotaping. But so I increased over here in this first white row, knitted without increasing the next row. Then the third white row I increased again, and then I knitted entire fourth row without any increases. Okay, and I'm ready to go and do my gray color, but I just want I put these needles in here because I want to show you how it's going to look like. Look, I'm so excited. It looks really pretty. Okay, so this is what I'm going for, this type of top before the rest of the dress is going to be knitted going down. Okay, so I kind of want the square look. This is going to go over shoulder. This is the 36 stitches in here that that we did, and then we're increasing, of course, so 6 stitch repeats, and the 5 stitch repeat is going to go to the front and to the back. So this is what we're doing, and I'm ready for my gray color, which is going to be just like the pink one. Okay, all right, so I'm here with my gray color, and we do need to increase in this row because we did not increase in the last row, and also we do need to set ourselves up for purl rows, 2 purl rows, but we will need to knit 1 row, because look, if I would go and start purling this row, we would go and have this white thing, right? And I don't like that. I don't want it to be shown, that white stripe from the white color. So we first need to knit 1 row. Okay, and we will increase at the same time, and we need to increase to the left. So we will pick up from the front and knit through the back. Okay, and then we will knit all the way to the last stitch on this needle. And if you have circular needles, you have probably a marker here for the raglan. Okay, so you will need to go and knit all the way to your raglan marker, not to the marker that tells you where your bobbles should be. These are these 2 markers, you remember, they are the stitch repeat 6 stitch repeat markers. Between those you have 6 stitch repeats. So I will just go and do my increases again while I knit the row, and I am doing my increases, 8 increases, 2 in each corner. Now is the time to purl entire row because we increased in the previous row, in the knitted row. All right, so I will purl entire row, and then I will purl again the next row, but we will again increase. So this is no increase row, and the next one is going to be purled and increased. All right, so in this row again we're going to increase and we will purl. So we purl first stitch, and do you remember how we did it last time? We pick up from the back to the front and we purl that stitch. That's the easiest way how to do it. If you would pick up from front to the back, it would be much harder, okay? Anyway, so now I will go and again purl all the way to my last stitch on this needle, and I will pick up that yarn again between the stitches from the back to the front, and I will increase and then knit the last stitch on this needle, and then I will repeat it on the 3 more needles. Okay, I'm finished with my row, and since we increased in this last row, we will only knit entire row. No purling, but knitting, okay? So we will do knit stitches, entire row, knit, 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 knit. And in the row after this, I will increase again, okay? And I don't think I have to show you anymore. I will just again knit my stitch and increase, make 1 left. Over here I will increase before my last stitch. I will increase, make 1 right, and then knit my stitch, knit stitch, make 1 left. Over here make 1 right, okay? So, but in this row we will not increase. I will increase in my next row, and then we will do our bobble. So you remember I knitted 1 row without no increases, and in this row I increased, and I'm finished with it, okay? And we're supposed to do our bobble again, but now we have 8 stitches on each side of the needle, okay? So what we're going to do is we are going to go and take our markers and move it 6 stitches over, because we're working with 6 stitch repeat, okay? So I will have now 2 stitches over here on the sides instead of 8, and I will do the same thing with all these, but I will do that a little bit later. So since I increased in this last row, I don't need to increase, but we will have to do the bobble, okay? So I will knit my first 2 stitches, 1, 2, and then the bobble is knitted that way, that we go and knit 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3. Now we will do the bobble, right? So we will put our needle through, pull the yarn through, high up, okay, yarn over and do it 3 more times. Oops, it fell off my needle. 3 more times into the stitch. So that's 1, 2, and always put that yarn over, 3. Now I usually hold my stitch and I pull the yarn through all these loops, finish it up, okay, and now we go below the stitch. This is the stitch, it got really huge, so below it we go and pull the yarn through and pull this through and put it on our needle as if we knitted a stitch. Okay, now we will go and count 2 stitches, 1, 2, and that's our 6 stitch repeat. Okay, 1, 2, let me see, yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and we will start again. Knit 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, make the bobble. So first we pull the yarn through, and then we have a little fuzzy thing in here. We'll get rid of it. Yarn over and 3 times. That's 1, that's 2, and that's 3. Okay, pull that yarn through all these loops, finish it, and go below the stitch, pull the yarn up through both loops and put it on the needle and knit after I am finished with it, putting it in there. And when I'm finished with this, I will knit 2 more stitches and I'm finished with the second bobble. Okay, so I will continue like this all the way around, but don't forget to move your markers 6 stitches over. Okay, very good. So that's what I will do, and when I'm finished we are going to go and knit entire row with increases, okay, after I'm done with my bobbles. Okay, so very good, I'm finished with my bobble round. Okay, and since I did not increase in my last row, I will increase in this row. And we will only knit and increase in our 4 corners. 1 here, 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 and here. That's all we will do in this row, okay? And I'm taking my markers all out. So knit 1 and increase, make 1 left and knit all the stitches to the, again, last stitch on the needle, but before it you will increase 1 right, make 1 right, M1R, okay? And then you will repeat that 3 more times. All right, so after I finished my increases in a knit row, we are going to purl this row, just like we did over here, okay? Purl every single stitch and no increases in this row. All right, so I'm finished with purling my stitches. All right, And what we're going to do now is we need to bind off our long side. So this is my long side and this is my long side. All right, so I will bind off these stitches with purl stitch. I'll be using purl stitch to bind off here and here. And I will purl this short side and this short side because this is our front and back. Okay, so we will keep knitting on these sides, but we need to bind off these two sides because these are our straps. So with the purl stitch you want to bind off. Okay, so you will do a purl and purl and bind off and purl and bind off. Okay, and I will bind off. Oops, I'm losing my stitch. And it got undone, so I have to do it again. Okay, and bind off. Good. Okay, so I will go and continue with binding off all the way here, and then I will purl all this and bind off all these stitches and purl all these stitches. And after I'm finished with all this, I will show you what we will be doing next. I finished my bind off, knit, bind off and knit. And just like I would go and continue knitting in a round, I'm gonna start right here on this side. And what we need to do is we need to increase our stitches because this is about 7 inches wide. This is 7 inches wide, but I need at least 21 inches around the chest. So what I will do is I will knit 2, I will increase every 3rd stitch. So we will knit 2 stitches and we will do yarn over. I'll just do yarn overs. Knit 2 stitches, yarn over. Knit 2 stitches, yarn over. Okay, and when I get to the end of this needle over here, we will add few stitches in between these needles to excuse me, to make up a few stitches for underarm area. Knit 2 and I will add 5 stitches, and let me do it this way. I'm going to add it with a cable stitch. So you have to turn around, right, and then you will go and add the stitch just by pulling the yarn between last 2 stitches and placing it onto the needle. So that's 2 stitches, 3, 4, and 1 more. Okay, now we need to go and work on this needle, but I think I need to transfer a few stitches over here. Now I will continue knitting, so I will knit 2 stitches, one and 2, and yarn over, and 2 stitches and yarn over. This stitch is wrong. Okay. When I'm finished with this needle, I will again add 5 stitches and I will connect it here to the beginning. And I will have to reshuffle my stitches, okay? Okay, here I am at the end. Now we need to again add those 5 stitches, okay, with a cable. And we will start knitting in the round. Just knit stitches, okay? And you can mark your beginning also, all right? Because this is gonna be your beginning right here on this side. All right, so I finished my row and I will keep knitting another 9 rows and then I will see where it's taking me. So, okay, ladies and gentlemen, I took a little break because I was getting burnt out with all this knitting and editing the videos. But since the last time that I was videotaping, I actually knitted, instead of 10 rows, as I said, I knitted 20 rows all the way to here. And I reshuffled my knitting needles and put my front on one needle only and marked my middle over here. This is my 36th stitch from this side and 36th stitch from this side, okay? And I put my marker on the 4th stitch below this stitch. I mean, it's 4 stitches below, okay? So it's this stitch plus 3 more. 1, 2, 3. We're going to go and knit into this stitch right above my marker, right there in that stitch. Okay, and this is how we will do it. I will knit 33 stitches. 33 stitches, and I have, where the marker is, I have 3 stitches left. And what we will do now is we will insert our needle or hook, if you cannot do it with the needle, right in that stitch where your marker is. You go in there and you pull yarn out. Okay, and all the way up, because it's below, you know, 4 stitches and an angle, so you really need to pull it up. Okay, then you go and knit next stitch. Okay, you see, and pull it up a little bit again if you need to. Now you will do that again. Let me show it to you with a needle, with a hook. You will go and use a hook, and you can go and pull that yarn, put it on your needle. Okay, pull it up and knit the stitch. Okay, make sure that those stitches are nice and long, that they're not pulling the fabric down. And you can do it again. So that's 3. Okay, and knit, and we will do this 3 more times. We are going to go again with the hook in the same stitch. So we are going to go and we will increase by 6 stitches. Make sure it's long. Keep pulling on that needle. Pull it up, okay? And that's one. And two more times, and one more time, okay? Knit, and we are going to go and do it one more time, just loosely. Don't be careful about not making it too tight. Okay, and next stitch you just keep knitting. So now you can see that this is a little bit too loose and this is too, so rearrange that yarn a little bit. Okay, we might need to pull on that yarn and make it same length. Okay, before you start knitting, because when you start knitting you will not be able to do it. You might want to pull on it a little bit and make this one tiny bit longer as well. And now I will, that looks more like it, you see. Now I will knit entire row all the way to the end, and then I will knit 10 rows, including these yarn overs. So knit all the way to the end, and then when I start knitting my first row, that I will count 10 rows, I will show you how I'm knitting these, okay? Okay, here we go. We are going to knit. I'm going to knit it through the back loop. Okay, so it's kind of flat in there. And knit the next stitch, and again, the pulled up stitch, knit through the back loop. Knit regular, knit through the back loop. Knit regular stitch in a regular way through the front loop, through the back loop, through the front loop, the regular stitch, right? Through the back loop, the pulled up loop, regular way, and through the back loop. And now regular. And let's go and look how it looks. So we are going to go and have a nice design here, and at the same time we increased by 6 stitches. Now this stitch is our middle stitch, so we increased from this stitch 3 stitches on this side and 3 stitches on this side. So we need to go and move later on again our marker to that middle stitch, okay? After I knit 10 rows, because now I'm going to go and knit 10 rows, I will, and this is my first row, I will go and repeat this again. Okay, and this way we will make the skirt wider, so it's going to be easy to move around for the baby. Okay, all right, so I will knit 10 rows, and I marked my first row in here. This is my marker for first row, and after I have 10 of these stitches above each other, I will repeat this in here in the middle again. I'm finished with my dress, and let me explain to you what happened. So like I told you, I will be knitting 10 rows, and I did so, and then increased my 6 stitches here in the middle again. Then I knitted again 10 rows and increased 6 stitches again. This way I made the dress wider, okay, and at the same time created a nice design over here. I also increased by 4 stitches, 2 stitches on this side, 2 stitches on this side. And I did so because I needed multiple of 6 stitches across for this design, okay, which I repeated from the top. I knitted 50 rows before I did my design, and I did it first in gray, then the white rows, and then the pink rows. All right, so, and don't forget that the links for my blog and playlists are gonna be below my video, okay? Don't forget to like my video if you think that this dress is really cute. Don't forget to comment, and if you comment and if you make the this dress, tag me on any social media. Share it with your family and friends. Maybe somebody would like to make this dress for a little 2-year-old girl. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that yet. Follow me on social media, and you will see me another day.